Let's review this unofficial transcript. Focus your attention to the bottom of the transcript, and you will see an assessment score of Reading 54, English 20, and Math 20. These are some of the first courses you should attempt to complete at Cerritos College because they allow you to move closer towards certificate and/or AA degree completion, while also preparing you to complete transfer level coursework. Each of these classes actually fall into the basic skill category, meaning you are strengthening your skills in preparation for the rigors of higher level classes. As you may recall from the transcript, this student placed in the Reading 54 along the range of Reading 42 to Reading 54, in English 20 within the range of English 15 to English 100, and Math 20 within the course sequence of Math 20 to Math 80 or 80B. Upon completion, the ending courses Math 80 or 80B, English 100, and Reading 54 qualify you for the AA degree as having met the necessary proficiency requirements. Taking a critical thinking course, as well as a 100 level or higher math course, count toward meeting your transfer general education requirements. You will have to refer to Plan A, B, or C to find out what additional general education coursework must be completed to meet your transfer goals.
In order to meet the requirements for an associate degree, you need to follow Plan A. Plan A lays out the general education requirements for an AA degree. When you're looking at Plan A, notice that there's some proficiency requirements. You need to meet the proficiency requirements for graduation in 4 areas: mathematics, reading, writing, health and wellness. When meeting the proficiency requirements for mathematics, you need to either place above Math 80 or you need to take the Math 80 course. For reading, you need to place above Reading 54 or you need to take the Reading 54 course. For writing, you need to complete English 100. When you meet the health and wellness requirement, you could either take an activity course or a lecture course, or if you're taking a health occupations program, you don't have to take a course because you'll meet it when you complete the program. The next category is natural sciences. In this area, you just need to select one course. It could either be a physical science or it can be a biological science. And it doesn't matter whether the class has a lab or not. Notice that some of these classes are listed with a lab in parentheses. Again, you don't have to take a class with a lab. In the next category, Area B, it's a social and behavioral sciences. You have to select one course from either American history or American government. In the next area, social and behavioral sciences, it depends on how many units you have, whether or not you need to take a class from this category. So I want to encourage you to meet with a counselor to determine whether or not you're going to have to take a class from this area. In category C, humanities, you have to select one course from fine arts or humanities. The next category, D, language and rationality, there's 2 areas. The first area, English composition, you must take English 100. For the next area, communication and analytical thinking, you can select one course from in there. Notice that English 100 and Math 80 are noted in these 2 areas. When you meet the proficiency requirements for mathematics and English, you're going to automatically meet these 2 categories or these 2 requirements. But you don't have to take Math 80. You can take anything in that area if you'd like. As we look through the form, you may have noticed that some of these classes had an asterisk, a double asterisk, and some other classes had a CL notation. A single asterisk means that the class is listed in more than one category. If you take a class that has a single asterisk, you have to select which category you want it to count in. You cannot take the class and count it in 2 categories. It could only count in 1 category. Some of these classes have a double asterisk. What that means is that the class does not transfer as a general education requirements for Plan B or Plan C. If you take a class that has a double asterisk, you cannot count the class in Plan B and Plan C. So if you're thinking about transferring in the future, I encourage you not to take a class that has a double asterisk. Some of the classes had a CL. What that means is that the course is cross-listed or the class is offered by two different disciplines. So these are the general education requirements for Plan A. If you have any questions, I encourage you to meet with a counselor and they can go over this with you more carefully.
When considering your classes to take here at Cerritos College, whether you're focused on a certificate or an associate's degree, also called an AA degree, an important piece of information is what classes are needed to complete your major requirements. Your major is the area you would like to specialize in, for example, culinary arts or child development. If you are working towards a certificate, your major is the only area needed to complete your educational goal. If you are working towards an AA degree, you will be required to complete general education and possibly elective classes in addition to the major course requirements. You can find a list that shows you what certificate, AA degrees, and even transfer options you have here at Cerritos College by going to www.cerritos.edu/programs. As you can see, a list of majors provided here at Cerritos College is on the left-hand side of this website. On the right-hand side are columns that show you what options are available for certificate, AA degree, and or transfer. If you already know your major, you can scroll through the list and select the major that best meets your area of interest. At this time, I would recommend you hit pause on the video and follow the link to either print or save the attached document for your major before we continue. Let's look at an example together. Let's say you are a welding major. I'm going to scroll down till I find the welding option. And you can see here that there are multiple options within the welding major. Let's also say that you're interested in a certificate, as well as you may want to add an AA degree later. We will want to select the option that gives you the flexibility. For now, let's say you are not sure what type of welding you would like to emphasize, so let's just select general welding. At the top of the PDF document, you will see career opportunities. Some major sheets will also provide an overview of the different options within any particular major. Then you will see a listing of classes that you need, in this case for a Certificate of Achievement. We can see that there are a core set of classes, and then you'll have to select an option for a particular type of welding, for example, arc, inert gas, or pipe welding. At the end of the PDF document, you will see a header for the associate's degree. At this point, you will learn what you need for your major if you are working towards an associate's degree. Many times, like in this case, the major requirements are the same for the certificate and the degree. But sometimes there are additional classes that you must be taken beyond the certificate requirements to complete the major preparation for an associate's. Please note that these documents are pulled from the Cerritos College catalog, which you can find online by going to Cerritos College homepage at www.cerritos.edu. From there, you would select Quick Links, and finally look at General Catalog and Schedule of Classes. This year's catalog has the requirements you will follow. As long as you maintain continuous enrollment at Cerritos College, taking at least one course in either fall or spring, you will maintain your catalog rights. This means that even if the major requirements change in the coming years, you can continue to follow the requirements for the year you started. When you are considering what classes you want to take during your first semester at Cerritos College, definitely look at these major sheets, but also make sure that you check each class for what is called a prerequisite. Prerequisites are classes that must come before another class. You can find the prerequisites in the Schedule of Classes or General Catalog. In my welding example, if I select General Catalog and scroll down so I can view the classes, I can see that Welding 170 has a prerequisite of Welding 100 or 120 or 130 or an equivalent with a passing grade of C or higher. This means you need to pass Welding 100 or 120 or 130 before you can sign up for Welding 170. I hope this gives you a better understanding of what you need to complete for your major.